One mistake moving to Europe can drain your bank account and your sanity. I've lived in Norway, Spain, and rural Italy, and I've learned the hard way that the top 10 list will not help you to find a home. Moving to rural Italy was a dream, but it's not for everyone. To help you avoid my mistakes, I've categorized each region so you can see exactly what you're getting into.
I will break down each European region by the big six: jobs, visas, taxes, cost, language, and lifestyle. And by the end of this video, you should have a much clearer idea of where in Europe could actually work for you.
To find the right fit, we have to look at the Europe through two different lenses: the career-focused professional and the location-independent nomad. Let's start with professionals. In this case, the priority is usually pretty clear: good job opportunities, decent salary, easier entry as non-EU citizen, and the possibility to work in English. South Europe is probably the biggest region for this lifestyle right now. The job market for high-skilled professionals is still very limited compared to West or North Europe, even though it's slowly improving in international and tech companies.
If we are being realistic, countries like Portugal, Greece, Italy, and Croatia don't offer many strong options for someone looking for a good career move. That leaves us with Spain, Cyprus, Malta, and Slovenia. Out of these four, Malta and Cyprus are the easiest when it comes to getting in as a skilled worker. Spain and Slovenia are more bureaucratic. From a language perspective, Malta wins quite clearly. English is an official language there. Cyprus is also decent because of the British influence. When it comes to taxes, they are all in a similar range, quite high for top earners. Malta has a smaller advantage here. Cost of living is highest in Spain and lowest in Slovenia. Overall, if I had to pick the best option in South Europe for a single professional, I would go with Malta. The combination of easier entry, English-speaking environment, and slightly better tax situation makes it stand out. The downside is that it's small and can feel very touristy, and buying property there is expensive. Slovenia is an underdog here. It is not the easiest on paper, but if nature and quality of life are important to you, it's honestly hard to beat.
I'm living in Italy, and while it didn't make the top of the list for single professionals, in the end of the video I will tell you one reason why I chose it anyway, and why it might change your mind too. If you find this video useful, subscribe for more. It's free!
Now let's move to the West Europe. This region is generally much stronger for someone looking for a good job. That said, we can still narrow it down. Switzerland, France, and Belgium have more complicated and bureaucratic processes for work permits, so I'd remove them for now. This leaves us with Netherlands, Germany, Ireland, Austria, and Luxembourg. When it comes to language, the Netherlands and Ireland are clearly the easiest, especially Ireland, since English is the official language. Taxes are high across the board, though Ireland has slightly lower rates than most of other countries in the region. Even though the cost of living and housing is higher in the Netherlands and Luxembourg, I still think the Netherlands and Ireland are the strongest option in West Europe for single professionals. Both offer good job opportunities, strong work-life balance, and are generally very welcoming to expats. Ireland has the big advantage of the English language, while the Netherlands feels very international and well organized. Now let's talk about East Europe, because I think a lot of people still underestimate this part. When it comes to getting in as a skilled worker, most countries here are quite open. I'd remove Hungary, Bulgaria, Romania, and Slovakia at this stage because of higher bureaucracy. Language is also a challenge in this region, though English is more widely spoken in Poland and the Baltic countries. Taxes here are much more reasonable than in Western Europe, usually up to 30–32% for higher earners. Cost of living is also relatively low. I know talking about 30% tax sounds boring until you realize that in Western Europe that number can easily hit 50%. And that's a lot of extra weekend trips to the Alps. Out of the remaining countries, I think Estonia is the most interesting. Tallinn is a charming city. The country is extremely digitalized and bureaucracy is almost non-existent. Poland is the safer, more well-rounded choice if you want easier access to the rest of Europe and a bigger expat community. And finally, North Europe: Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, and Iceland. These countries generally have good job opportunities, but getting in can be more difficult. Iceland and Norway don't use the EU Blue Card, so you really need a job offer. Taxes are high, especially in Denmark, but in return you get excellent work-life balance, safety, and nature. If I had to pick the best option in North Europe for a single professional, I would go with Denmark and Sweden. Denmark feels a bit more central and international, while Sweden offers a great mix of career opportunities and quality of life.
But what if you aren't looking for a local boss? What if you are bringing your job with you? That changes the map entirely. And some of the weakest countries I just mentioned suddenly become a strong option. As someone who wants to work from abroad, you will care more about if the country has a good options for digital nomad visa, how easy it is to renew, whether it leads to permanent residency, taxes on foreign income, and overall cost of living.
South Europe has traditionally have been very popular with digital nomads. However, not all countries are equally good for long-term stays. Slovenia, Malta and Croatia have clear limitations with their visas, so I would remove them if you are thinking long-term. This leaves us with Spain, Portugal, Italy, Greece and Cyprus. All of these offer visas that can eventually lead to permanent residency after 5 years. However, when it comes to taxes, Portugal and Italy are generally less attractive for digital nomads. Portugal's special 20% flat tax has become much harder to qualify for, and if you don't meet the new requirements, you can end up paying normal high tax rates. Italy's tax benefits are mostly limited to certain southern regions and usually require you to either work for an Italian company or set up a company there. Because of this, the strongest options right now for digital nomads in Southern Europe are Spain, Greece and Cyprus. Spain offers a flat 24% tax for up to 6 years. Greece gives you 50% tax-free on employment income for 7 years. Cyprus is especially strong if you have passive income, as you can pay 0% on most foreign dividends and interest under their non-dom rules. When it comes to quality of life and infrastructure, Spain is still the strongest overall choice in South Europe. Greece and Cyprus are cheaper, but public healthcare is generally weaker. West Europe is quite limited for digital nomads. Most countries do not offer dedicated digital nomad visas. The only somewhat realistic option is Germany, but even there you usually need to apply for a freelance visa as a self-employed person. North Europe is also quite restricted. Norway offers an independent contractor visa and Iceland has a remote work visa, but both have limitations. Sweden, Denmark and Finland don't have proper digital nomad visas. East Europe has become much more attractive in recent years. Estonia, Hungary, Romania and Bulgaria all have dedicated digital nomad visas and generally lower taxes. Bulgaria and Romania currently offer the best salary-to-cost ratio. Estonia stands out for its digital infrastructure and low bureaucracy, while Hungary sits somewhere in the middle.
Personally, as someone who is self-employed and have a family, I'm planning to move my tax residency to Bulgaria. For me, the combination of low taxes, low cost of living and familiar culture makes it the most practical choice right now. And before I finish, I want to leave you with one realistic thought. No matter which country you choose, getting permanent residency or citizenship usually requires learning a local language to a decent level. Also, many European countries don't offer good long-term options unless you have a local job contract, married to a local person, or have citizenship by ancestry. So even if I shared my top recommendations, those countries aren't automatically easy to move to. It's important to be honest with yourself about your options, your skills, your income, your language level, and the personal situations all matter. For me and my family, our move to Italy wasn't based on metrics I've just broke down. On paper, it was one of the harder choices. But I realized that while data helps you to find a house, it's not always helps you to find a home. I chose Italy for the cost of joy. In many countries, you pay for efficiency and high salaries. In Italy, you are paying for culture where €1.5 espresso is an experience, where your neighbors become your second family, and where the pace of life lets you enjoy the success you actually work so hard for. Sometimes the best country isn't the one with the best spreadsheet. It's the one where you can see your family thriving for the next 20 years. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in a part 2. Ciao!